Good evening and welcome to the Voice of Oneness podcast. I am Aumara, and together with my spirit team of master teachers, present the teachings of divine oneness. And for the episode tonight, I want to begin with laying the foundation for understanding divine oneness and how it relates to us as individuals and all of creation. And the reason that this is the topic that I'm going to lead into tonight and then continue in the weeks to come in under different areas of this is because it's not a simple oneness, the interconnectedness of all things. There's a lot more to it. And when we develop a true in-depth understanding of it, then we get to live life in the fullness of which we were created to do, and not in a state of fear and divisiveness, separation, but we begin to heal. We begin to heal. We begin to grow. We begin to allow ourselves to experience the beauty that is all around us. Through these lessons in oneness, we'll learn how to step outside of judgment, how to step outside of the judgment of others and ourselves by understanding what judgment is, by understanding how we can begin to shift that energy and release that action when we understand ourselves in relationship to the whole. And at this time, this is the perfect lessons to go into, because we are at an all-time high in the divisiveness of our societies around the globe, not just here in the United States, but we are living in such tense and turbulent times. And it's part of what's going on. It's part of the energies that need to take place for our expansion of consciousness. Back in 2019, overall, our collective consciousness was moving along pretty well. There were many of us awakening. When I say awakening, what I mean by that is beginning to understand that there's so much more to who we are, so much more to life than we had been living. And we started to open up and allow ourselves to experience new concepts like divine oneness, like ascension, like the awakening. And we started to have experiences. And we were going along very well. And as a collective, we were rising up. The energy on the planet, there's a controlling factor, a controlling energy that wants to keep everything at a certain frequency and not allow us to rise up and to come into recognition of the truth of that which we are, to come into recognition of the truth of all things in creation. For we have been living under the guise of a script that was written to hijack our minds and keep us in servitude rather than the expansion and fullness of the divine essence of which we are. So at that time in 2019, heading into 2020, an event was created that sent a spiraling downwards into fear. And it was designed that way for that purpose. And it happened, so be it. And now we find ourselves in 2024, and we're at a point of what's called the Great Reveal. The Great Reveal is coming into focus, coming into the light, that which is true. And in order to do that, we have to see that which is untrue, that which is deception, manipulation, lies, untruths. And then when we see the untruth, then we can begin to experience the truth. So as we begin with these teachings of oneness, oneness is the truth. And it is the experiencing of the essence of which we are in connection to the whole. So I'd like to start by reading a writing that was given to me by Spirit back in 2008 when I was first approached, I'll call it, to take on the task of serving as the speaker for the Voice of Oneness. For I was asked and explained to me what the task involves and asked if I wished to take it on. And I said yes. For I have always been about service to others. I've always been about how can I help? What can I do? And many of us are like that. Not all of us, but many of us are. And it was the healing of humanity's hearts that really connected with me. Healing the false, there's all different names we can give it. We can call it false matrix. We can call it, the false beliefs of who we are, the very limited material world. That's not who we are. We are powerful creator beings. We are powerful creator beings that have been created and exist here and other places, but I'll just stay with here for now, for the purpose of creating in the field of love, not in the field of fear. For when we're in the field of fear, we still can create. But what we create is at the frequency of that fear. So it's nowhere near the fullness of what we were created to express. When we're creating from fear, we call those miscreations. When we're living under the blanket, we can say, of fear, we're pitted against one another. We're in judgment of one another and everything around. We look through the eyes of judgment. We don't open our hearts to love and to receive love. If we are not at a place of unconditional love, love without conditions, love free of judgment, we cannot experience it, nor can we give it. We need to be at a place where we are free from judgment. Judgment and unconditional love can't be in the same space. We're either in judgment or we're free of judgment. We're in love. We're in the unconditional love. So it is our desire to help heal that rift in the fabric of our collective consciousness of separation and return to love. So let us begin with that writing that was given to me back in 2008. And it's going to be a very basic description. For anything that we read or listen to, any teacher that we listen to or teachings, it's always in the moment exactly what we need. And when we allow it to be present within us and make room for it to expand, then we can go deeper into the expansion of whatever the concept is and be ever forward moving, life affirming. That is life. That's what we are meant to do. We're not meant to grab onto something and try to hold it in the clutches of our hands, or it's only for us, or this information is special teachings and it doesn't go out to everybody. Nonsense. Nonsense. No more. That's the way of the past. Now it's time for us to awaken to who we truly are and to begin to co-create a world of which reflects the expression of our truth. We are at a point where we're divided, as I said before, and that's okay. That's okay. That's where we are in the moment. But we are on the way to healing. We are on the way to awakening fully and co-creating the world that reflects the truth of our being, which is love, which is light. That's where we are headed. So we're on the time now in 2024 where everything that is not truth needs to fall. It's the great reveal. The great reveal in the world. We're going to come into many different events that may be quite shocking for some of us. For some of us, we will understand that this has been going on for a very long time. For some of us, it'll be new and we'll have to process the information. But it is the time of the great reveal for us also, individually. The great reveal is the time of which we get to experience who we are. Who we are. If you sit right now and ask yourself that question, who am I? Who am I? Beyond my name, beyond my station in life, whatever it may be. Maybe I'm somebody's mother, maybe I'm somebody's wife, maybe I'm somebody's husband, brother, lover, whatever it may be. Beyond that, beyond a bank account, beyond a job, the essence of which we are, our soul. Who are we? Who are we? In order to move forward in peace and experience the love, we must come to the understanding of that which we are. And in order to do that, we must have a strong foundation in the principles of divine oneness. So, why teach oneness as it was given to me? It is to reintroduce oneness back into this grand play. This grand play is everything we're experiencing in life, in the world today. They're calling it a grand play, or they called it a grand play in 2008. It's to bring all back to the one point, to let loose the illusion, to break the pattern of separation. The illusion, the pattern of separation. We've been living in the pattern based on the illusion that we're separate from one another, that we're separate from the Creator who created us and everything of which we have around us and experience in all of creation. We believe we're separate. We're a separate self. That's an untruth. And that is something that we are each going to face as we come into the great reveal, the time of the great reveal. And we will process it as best we can wherever we find ourselves in our awareness of our divinity. So there's no measuring ourselves against any other and all of creation. We are all consciousness, and we are all at different levels of awareness. We're right where we need to be. And we're all always going to expand, not at the same time, but we will always return to our oneness. There can be no peace as long as separation exists. Oneness is to usher in peace. When we understand the oneness, peace is then the experience. Oneness is to bring all home again. Home to the one point, free of the separation. Oneness is the next great lesson. It is the objective, the mark all must reach. There is much to be taught of oneness. The coming together of one with no separation is true freedom. In order for this planet to ascend, oneness is to be embraced. Separation will hold all back from peace. There'll be no peace as long as we hold separation in our collective consciousness and our individual consciousness. We are individuated aspects of the Creator, of God. We are individuated aspects in the collective whole. What is oneness? Oneness is the way to ultimate freedom from suffering. The teachings of oneness addressed what must be understood to release all thoughts and beliefs of separation. All thoughts and beliefs of separation. Oneness is a path. It's not dogma. It's not a cult. It's not a religion. It is simply what is. It's simply what is. We don't need to create our oneness. We don't need to pass a test to enter the classroom of oneness. We are oneness. It is stepping into the knowing of what is. Now, in order to achieve this knowing, man has devised all sorts of dramas and sufferings that need to be dissolved. Doesn't say here that will haunt you to the end of time. It says sufferings that need to be dissolved, meaning they are to be dissolved, no more. When we become aware of what we are believing in relationship to what is the truth, which is the oneness, then we can make adjustments. The thought just popped into my head of that saying that says, you don't know what you don't know. Once you do know, you can't go back to not knowing. Well, that's what the lessons lead us to. We may start off not understanding, not knowing, believing we are separate, believing we have to protect our stuff, and we have to have somebody that represents us and aligns with us because that's how we get saved. That's to be dissolved. And not all in an instant. It's going to take time as we progress through, and everyone processes the information as best they can and asks questions. And although this is being done in a podcast format, I'm also completing a course in a course format for those that want to go deeper into it and want to have a workbook, want to have more to work with, and also contact with me individually to get assistance with some concepts that may take a little bit more instruction to really embrace. Some of us learn things very quickly, and some of us need a more involved process. That's just who we are. There are many lessons along the way to the realization of what is known as oneness. Oneness is the realization that all are of the same one source. All are of the same one source. That which created us, that source, that love, that light, that infinite intelligence, we can call God, which makes us that light, that love, that infinite intelligence, makes us aspects of God. So there's different ways to understand, and I know that others had to ask me questions on this, that there is the one prime creator who then created creator gods, who then created different rays of light, which created different humans, different souls, and not just humans. And yes, but if we were to not go, and I'm not going to in this go that deep into that because that goes very deep and that's more for a course structure than the podcast. But if you trace that back, if you trace the steps back, it is the one source that created, that's in that which it created, which then creates and then creates and that creates. That's how the creator created all of creation. And we're part of that. We are part of the creator and we are part of the creation. And we are creators who get to create our creations while we're still in states of fear, not fully realized of who we are in truth. We are always creating. We're creating something. It's usually sometimes miscreations because it's done from a fear state. But there's simply the fact that they are our creations, and we get to assess that and then to choose to recreate. And we can recreate as we grow in oneness. We recreate in love because we come into the remembrance of who we are. Oneness is what's left when all else falls away. Now, I said we're in the time of the great reveal. So that which is not in truth is going to fall away. It is what is. That's where we are in our evolution, our process of evolution. And this earth here, Mother Earth, Gaia, is not just a rock formation, as you taught in elementary science, but is a living being. And she, like us, wishes to ascend, and this is part of the process. It is where all will return. Oneness teachings are roadmaps to return home. It does not matter what religion one aligns with, as the perennial threads of all religions are all about oneness. The perennial threads, that which all religions have in common. There are some threads, some perennial threads in all religions. We have different ways to practice, different customs, different perhaps deities, different whatever it may be, but the threads are there of oneness, that we are all connected. The teachings of oneness assist all in realizing who they truly are. It leads the way for each to become fully enlightened. It leads the way for us to become fully enlightened. As we have said before, it's the whole ball of wax. It's who we truly are. It's who we've always been. All are one. You are being asked to enter into a state of being of which you have forgotten is yours. You're being asked to enter into a state of being, into the oneness, but you've forgotten that it's yours. part of the experience here on the planet when we are born onto this planet, when we call that incarnating as a soul into this realm. We go through the veil of forgetfulness. We have to forget who we are in truth, because part of the game plan here, we talk about the game of life, we were here to experience all that we are not. We get to experience and play. We get free choice, free will to experience life, to experience events, to experience interrelationships with one another. So we get to experience that which we are not. So ultimately, we choose to align with that which we are, which is love. That's how we return to love. That may not make sense at this point, but to set the foundation, understand that that's what we're going to build on. Okay? We are here to remind you who you are. This we do now. Our work is set, and we have our task to fulfill in the state of completeness, which is the energetic expression of life. Sitting together now, we speak of the oneness of all, the connection that is in every part and parcel of this creation, imbibed by the Creator, and it is the very essence of the divine source of eternal wisdom, the very essence of the divine source of eternal wisdom, knowledge, and love. And we take that in for a moment. We sit with that. We say, this is in every part and parcel of creation. We are part of the creation. So we have within our soul, which is what's present here in your body, eternal wisdom. Eternal wisdom. Knowledge and love. That is ours. But it's covered because we've forgotten who we are. We believe we're something else. We believe we're separate. But when we awaken to who we are in truth, we are able to tap into that wisdom, that eternal wisdom, because it's ours. The knowledge and the love. We experience the love. We are filled with peace, joy, happiness. And we walk through life alive, not dead. When we are living the falsehood of what we are like the living dead. We are not living. We are not living anywhere near our full capacity. It's like only tapping in, having the capacity of the current of electricity. Or I'm even thinking of my internet. It's probably easier to do that. The internet, when all of a sudden the connection is very slow. It's not as robust as it usually is. It slows down for whatever the reasons are. The potential is there to be robust, and that's the way that we want to experience our connection, but yet it's slowed down. It's a trickle. It's not as robust as it is when we're in full recognition of it. So when we think of that, that should be very exciting to us. That should be drawing us in more to, I want to experience that. I understand suffering. We've all suffered. I understand not remembering. We know that. understanding that I believe that I'm separate. There's this separate me, but I know there's more. And everyone will always say, I know there's more. I just don't know what it is, but I know there's more. I know I'm supposed to do something. I have this great purpose, but I don't know what it is. But I've got this feeling. Don't know what it is because you haven't yet remembered who you are. Once you remember who you are, it's inevitable. It's there. You are then ignited with that flame, and you understand your purpose, and you go forth living it. I hope that makes sense. The essence is the one creative force in motion, this essence, ever pressing forward. It is the eternal expanse of the evolutionary being of oneness. That's who we are. We are the evolutionary being of oneness. We are life-affirming, ever-expanding, eternal life when we are in full recognition of that which we are in truth. When we are believing in the false self, when we are locked down in the matrix of servitude and having our minds hijacked by the programming of the energies that have held the capacity to do so and are losing the grip, so to speak, at this point in the game, because we are coming online now, and more of us are coming into the remembrance of that which we are. We're awakening at this great reveal. And this isn't something that is held from anyone. We all are that divine essence. We all are one. We are all part of the whole. No one is excluded. No one, no matter what they've done. Behavior is behavior. Behavior doesn't change the essence of who we are. What happens when we have behaviors that are reflecting our belief in separation from God, the Creator? We start to exit the field of love and enter into fear. And as we move further in that, we move further and further away from the light of that which we are. So we call that going into darkness, because the light isn't shining as brightly. It's not as robust, once again. It's still there. The potential's there. The potential's there. The potential never dies. The potential's there. It's just not the focus. The focus is the darkness. So then those that are in that fear, further and further away from the light, living life in that darkness, as that darkness, the behaviors are not going to be a match for those that are living in the light. It's going to be a match for the darkness. It's the behaviors. Each one of us will meet our own actions, the own expressions that we've had on this planet and others. When we leave this planet, we get to review our expressions, every interaction, every thought, word, deed. That's what we take with us. We don't take money. We don't take fame. We don't take any accolades. What we take with us is how we express the energy. What did we do with the energy? We are stewards of our energy. Did we pay attention? Did we look at who we are? Or did we go after other pursuits? pursuits of fame or fortune or whatever it may be. We each, no matter what our behaviors, whether it was darkness or light, get to view that and process that. And then we have an opportunity to transmute that energy. And if we have erred in our behaviors, we have the opportunity to forgive ourselves and to let that energy be transmuted. And the more we do that, the more we start to return to the light. That's a simplified explanation, but just for I know, because people always ask, well, what about somebody who's doing horrific things? How are they God? How are they part of the oneness? They are, but they're just so far from that light and love that they're in darkness. So then what we do is we understand that that's what's happening there. We don't judge them. We look at what is, and we allow them the opportunity to express as they choose. And we choose accordingly, whether or not we want them to be part of our experience or we want to remove ourselves from their energy. That's our choice. But it's an explanation of how we choose differently and have different behaviors. So our evolutionary being of oneness. Yes, we are all one, ever present with this great expanse of oneness always. Never a moment may exist of which we are each not a part of oneness. We all experience interconnectedness through the expanse, and each one is ever evolving in our oneness. We are each ever evolving, but we're evolving at different points of awareness because we're individuated aspects. We're meant to express as we were created. Individuated aspects of consciousness created in love, by love, as love. Into a world where we've forgotten we're love. And we get to experience that which is not love and loving so that we can choose love. That's the game we're playing. And many of us, as we begin to awaken, you cannot awaken without making a choice to enter into the light and choose love, without learning about the power of forgiveness, without learning about the universal laws, not man's laws, not the penal code, but universal laws. The law of reciprocity. What you give out, you get back. The law of manifestation. Your thoughts and beliefs create your experience. These are examples of the laws. There are many laws, and we will cover those in this course of oneness. But that's just an example for tonight's reading. We are here together in this light to illuminate the very experiences of oneness. We are the teachers of oneness as it pertains to the evolutionary expansion of cosmic consciousness through the earthly expression of each living source on this great being of cosmic consciousness known as Gaia, Mother Earth. So look at that. That's very interesting how the team states the expression of the energy of which they are in the moment. We are here in this light to illuminate the very experiences of oneness. We are the teachers of oneness as it pertains to the evolutionary expansion of cosmic consciousness through the earthly expression of each living source on this great being of cosmic consciousness known as Gaia. It doesn't say we are forever the teachers of oneness. So we are the teachers of oneness in this moment for the expression of this energy. Now, take that and place that within your own expression of energy. Who are you in this moment? In this moment. Doesn't mean who you are forever to be. If you've had a past life that's been great, that's great. If you've had one that wasn't so great that you remember, that's okay too, because you are not that. It was simply an experience. We're a compilation of experiences. That where our awareness is, that's where we are. That's the now moment. Where the awareness is, where the activity is happening, where the awareness is. As we live and breathe, and we just experienced a very divisive election here in the United States, and some people very, very upset, still very, very upset, and there are others that are very hopeful. No matter whether you're hopeful or very, very upset, you ask yourself, in this moment that I'm experiencing what I know to be me, am I holding my personal power, or have I given it away? If I am hopeful, that's a wonderful place to be. But am I stepping into action in my awareness of the moment and holding a vision for the world I am co-creating? If I am in despair because I feel that I am now going to suffer because someone else is in the role to make choices or decisions that are going to affect me, am I realizing that I am a creator being, that I am part of the oneness of all of creation, and that I hold the power to make the decisions that produce the outcomes of my life experience? I get to choose misery, or I get to choose to release myself from the shackles of the beliefs that cause the misery. I get to choose an experience that I get to create the reality that I experience. I get to choose to release judgment. I get to choose to learn how to do that. What would my life look like if I released judgment? I'm not judging any family member. I'm not judging any experience I have at work. I'm not judging somebody else to be less competent than me. I'm not judging somebody else to be more competent than me. I'm not judging somebody else to be ugly because their body isn't the shape that I think it should be. I'm not judging myself to be ugly because my body isn't the shape that everyone else is telling me it needs to be. Do you see what happens when we let go of that? When we simply say, no, that's not who I am. That's not who I am. And although I sit in this moment, and it's been what I've known up until this moment, we could say, this moment forward, this is where my awareness is. I'm aware of this breath. I'm aware of this moment. Here I get to change that. Here I get to sit and in my mind and in my heart hold a vision, a new vision of who I am. And as I do that, I open up. I go within myself, not to the outside world. That's projections of what's inside me and inside others. That's the soup. I'm not going to the soup. I hold the ingredients inside me that makes the soup. I make my reality. I create it. I co-create it with others. I co-create with that which created me. I must hold a vision inside of me. If I do not hold a vision, I'm like the buoy that bobs up and down in the water. It doesn't go anywhere. It's just bobbing. There's no expression outside of that. We're just bobbing up and down in the waters of life. We're not living. We're not living. So it's, yeah, things happen and the mind's been hijacked and we went to groupthink, and whichever group we belonged to we thought was the right way. But then we have to ask, did that serve me? Is it serving me here in this moment? Serving me means, am I happy? Is there joy in my life? Am I experiencing peace? Because if I'm allowing myself not to have those experiences, I'm killing myself, because it's creating toxic chemicals in my body. So I'm giving my life and my power to the source here that's suffering, created the suffering, which is the illusion that I'm separate and that I don't have the power, that I have to look for somebody else to be more powerful than me. There isn't anyone more powerful. There are those that are more aware of the truth of who they are. There are also those who are aware in the darkness part, who are aware of how they can harness their power to create and create ill intent, malicious, nefarious. But once again, those creations come back to them, and they are then to take responsibility for them. So don't think that somebody who appears in the moment to be doing something that's very nasty and that they're getting away with it. There's no such thing. You can't hide from you, and you're the only one that will ever judge you. So we all meet that. So don't. It may look in our world of illusions that there's something going on here, that they're getting away with it, but they are not, because they can't hide from themselves. And when they get to see what they've done and what they've created, the suffering is beyond words. So know that that is so. And these are not just things that I'm saying that are, take my word for it. These are things that as you grow and as your consciousness expands and as you go deep within yourself, you will have the confirmation. You will have the direct experience. You will be experiencing yourself in communion with the Creator. And that's where we need to be. That's where we need to be. That's where our loyalty is to be, to ourselves, to that which we are, to the oneness, not to everything in the outside world. That's all the energy of which is hijacking our attention, our focus away, so that we do not get to rise up, so that we do not return to the oneness. That's that agenda. We can say, I want to participate in that. Okay, so be it. I do. Or, oh no, the end is now. Now that I have been enlightened to the point of there is much more and I am part of it, then I can join in and come back to the light. We are here in the days of extreme upheavals and the birthing of new ideas to reformulate the expressions of old, to reconfigure the patterns, to turn things around to the positive selection of a loving source. There are so many variations to the energetic repatterning that are contained in oneness. We speak of the part that we have chosen to call our tasks. Each part fits perfectly within the whole. Each part is the expression of the whole, contained within various containers and expressed based on conditions of energetic disbursements through expansive, conscious rays of luminous reflection. There is much to be released by us now, much to discuss, explain, diagram, and disperse for the upliftment of the collective expression of our planetary consciousness. We are working together with Gaia to usher in new vibratory expanses, which are part of the consciousness as it moves to ever higher expressions, the Great Awakening, the Ascension. It's a time of great upheavals, a time of the dismantling of old patterns, the untruths. Through the process of growth, as many begin to enter into greater stages of awareness, shaken out of complacency into a state of alert. Shaken out of complacency into a state of alert. We become aware, oh my gosh, what have I done? Where have I placed my attention? Am I living a life that is so fearful? Am I living a life that is joyless? Or am I expanding my consciousness? Am I loving my fellow souls around me? Am I allowing myself to say, this is very interesting. Let me observe without jumping into judgment. So we are experiencing the events that are shaking us out of complacency. We all realize, and we realized in 2020, that the world we had known was no longer in existence. Everything rapidly changed. And we continue to change as we are expanding our consciousness. We are moving in the direction of a unified consciousness. And that's a beautiful thing. Are we there yet? Of course not. But we are on our way. Yes, this is a state of movement by which each engages with different phases of their own evolutionary patterns to blend and continue the forward movement of expansion of the collective expression. So we each have our own evolutionary patterns to blend and continue the forward movement of expansion of the collective expression, the collective consciousness. We're part of the whole, but we're each individuated aspects. So we have our own evolutionary patterns. Allow yourself to be. Allow yourself to be who you are. Allow yourself to be. Accept the beauty that you are. Allow others around you to express the beauty of who they are, even if it doesn't match with what you believe needs to take place. You allow it, for you say, yes, my brother, and that's all souls, has the right to express as they choose. We have our own evolutionary patterns. And we begin with this foundation of oneness. And one of the first lessons is going to be about the release of judgment. And we'll see how what we believed judgment to be is there's so much more that we didn't realize. And that's okay, because as we learn, now we become aware, then we can choose to take action or not. See, we evolve by our own choice, our own hand. Nobody pushes us into it. Nobody takes us out of it. Everything is done by our own hand, our own choice. For we are each a complete soul. Now, this does not mean mass awakening to higher realms of being, which there are some that are teaching that there's going to be this mass awakening and everyone's going to wake up. No. Oh, no, not at all. It does, however, mean the opening of greater potential on a massive scale. So the opening of a greater potential on a massive scale. So it doesn't mean that everyone's going to have this awakening. There are going to be those that are not yet ready. There are going to be those that are so in the dark that that's where they're going to stay until they start moving out on their own. So there's not going to be any mass awakening, but the potential is on a massive scale to awaken. The possibilities are ignited. Everything is here. The potential is here. What's the difference in that from a massive awakening to a mass potential? Is choice. We must choose it. We must choose it. Each of us must choose it. No one can choose it for us. No one can choose it for us. We must choose it. Thus, enabling the conditions to be ripe for the greatest growth in the direction of unity consciousness. And that's the purpose of our presenting the oneness teaching, is to assist in the movement to the direction of unity consciousness, the healing of humanity's hearts, the awakening to that which we truly are, and the release of that which we are not. That's our purpose. That's why we do what we do. The teachers of higher principles on the planet have the task of assisting in the process of expansion by elucidating the understanding of growth potentials and how to access growth potentials. Thus, expansion takes place organically through choice. It must be choice. There is no written doctrine that says you must memorize this and you must live and abide by this, or that's it. No, you get to choose. You get to experience your choices. You get to choose in each and every breath. And then you move to the field of love. Your expression and your experiences will be based on your choices, your desires, what you wish to experience. It may not be what I wish to experience or what someone else wishes to experience, but you get yours and I get mine, and everyone else gets their choice. So remember, no one can take your choice from you. No one has power over you ever, ever. You may not be feeling as powerful at any given moment in our life experience. We all go through times when we're down. We've all been down and out. We've had things happen in our life, loss of loved ones, loss of jobs, divorces, whatever it may be. We've had things, just major upheavals. But that doesn't mean that we're any less powerful than somebody who's living a beautiful life at that moment. The potential is always there. We're experiencing what we need to for our soul's growth. I hope that makes sense. So, because I've had some people say, well, so-and-so is, they must be so blessed and just such a perfect being because they're living this life that they have all the riches, they have a beautiful home, they have loving families, they have this and that. And that's where they are, and that's what they have, that's what they need in the moment. Doesn't mean that that's not available to you or to me. If we were making our choices and we had the desires to experience that similar reality, we certainly have the availability to do so. For we live in an abundant universe. We live in the lap of God. God is the allness, He is the everything. Nothing exists outside of God. We are God as well. We are individuated aspects of the consciousness of that which created us. We are part of the allness. So there's nothing withheld from us other than through our own belief, our choices. And as we come to realize that, then we start shifting and our life evolves in a way that then represents that. We have arrived at a massive growth point in this collective expression, the choice point. What one chooses as one's expression is what is experienced. What we choose is what is experienced. Now, many people will say, and they have a hard time wrapping their head around, how could anyone possibly choose suffering? How could anybody possibly choose to be the victim of a horrific crime? How could anybody, why would they choose these things? There's purpose in everything. There's purpose in everything. And we don't have the big picture. We have a little myopic view. But when we understand there's purpose in everything, and we understand that we get to choose, and we understand that we're here in this life experiencing that which we're not so that we can return to that which we are by choice. By choice. And we realize it's all part of it, and we are all on our own evolutionary path. We have different things to experience, and as souls, we choose different experiences until we no longer need them. And we are reaching into the expanse of the oneness of which we are. When we are in that oneness, we no longer have to have the opposite experiences because we are in the oneness that's embodied, that's expressed, that's at that frequency. That's where we are expressing our awareness, our conscious awareness. So, of course, we work towards the choose peace. Choose peace. Choose peace. Choose peace. When somebody says something to us and we could have a reaction and we get upset because they said such and such to us, realize that they do not have the right to define us. They cannot define us. They never can, never could. That's our belief and our acceptance of their words. When we choose to say, oh, that's interesting, and then continue on, not paying any attention to it, it has no power over us. Or we can say in the moment, I choose peace. I choose peace. I don't understand why this person did what they did, why they would be hurtful. I don't understand it, but I choose peace. I choose peace. I choose peace. We are then shifting the energy. So we can go, I choose peace. I choose love. We could say, I choose freedom. I choose freedom. If we're someone who's so upset over the results of the election because our candidate did not win, then say, yeah, I'm upset. I could be so upset. But I can choose freedom. I can choose freedom. And I don't know what that's going to look like what's going to evolve here, but I choose freedom. I choose my life to be expressed and experienced in freedom. I'm choosing freedom for me. I'm choosing love for me. I don't know what that's going to be like or feel like here in this moment, but I'm choosing love. I'm choosing love. I'm choosing to love myself so much that I know that right where I am is right where I need to be, and that all is well, and that my life will unfold in accordance with my choices. If I'm choosing despair, if I'm choosing to suffer, if I'm choosing to hate, if I'm choosing to judge, then my life will unfold with hate and judgment and despair until I wind up manifesting a disease that ends my life. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? We want to choose in love. We want to choose in love, loving the self. Loving the self, taking responsibility for the consciousness of which is present in the awareness of the moment as you. And then stepping into the next moment as it unfolds organically. Choose peace, choose love, choose freedom. That shifts your energy, your frequency. Choosing hate, choosing anger, choosing revenge, choosing judgment. To judge anyone condemns them. In oneness, we're all one. You're condemning yourself. You cannot choose hate, anger, and judgment and be healthy, because there's toxic chemicals coursing through your body, because you are out of alignment with that which you are. You can't change that which you are. You were created in love, as love, by love. When you are not acting in accordance with that, you are going to experience the opposite of love. Does that make sense? I hope it does. And that's not to say that someone who's choosing love, choosing peace, choosing freedom doesn't manifest something in their body, that a disease that they succumb to, a cancer or something like that. Because remember, there's a bigger picture, there's other reasons. But when we are choosing that hate, that anger, that revenge, that fear, we are doing a disservice to that which we are, to the entire planet, to all of humanity. Because we are one. We are one. We are one. And we are going to continue with the teachings of oneness in the weeks to come. But these are to be chosen and not forced or given to anyone without their first calling for such expression. So, in other words, we don't tell somebody they have to choose love. No, it's got to be choice, not to be forced. You must choose it. You must call on that expression. You must choose for yourself. You decide your course. You see, many offer what they believe to be prayers of peace, asking each to learn to love one another. And this is a noble cause. Yet the prayer of upliftment to a higher expression of being is, O source of infinite love, let your presence come alive within me now, that together we may shine your luminous light so brightly that all are drawn to ignite the flame within themselves of your ever-burning love. Let each being be open to their expansion of cosmic consciousness, so as to uplift themselves and their collective consciousness to greater and greater reflections of wholeness, where peace reigns and all are free, where love is the way expressed in every heart. Let all join in oneness. Oh, this is my prayer, O infinite intelligence, God, creator of all that is. Here is my prayer. I know it is done. As my heart burns with love, my consciousness is illumined by our light, and my experience is of your will be done in the joyful expanse of eternal oneness. As we dance as one. Amen. So this is asking to join in oneness, asking for assistance and not deciding what someone needs. So it's different than deciding and praying for what we believe someone needs. So that's a very beautiful prayer, and I hope that makes sense. And then what we have here, So the Voice of Oneness said, one more writing for me. Let me see, this was 12/19 of 2015. Our voice speaks to the masses for the purpose of awakening to the choice point and beyond, opening to the fullness of expression, embracing wellness, cultivating possibilities that are supporting and uplifting to the collective as well as the self. Our voice is the calling back to the single focus of oneness. We are here to speak to all, and so we shall. When we remember our oneness, we experience our connection with life, with each other, and ourselves. By remembering the oneness, we tap into creation, and we experience creation expressing itself through our soul, our heart, and our prayers. When we affirm, I am willing to experience the oneness of life, we set ourselves up for a day filled with grace, healing, and miracles. If we affirm this every day, then that's where we are aligning ourselves with every day. And that's a beautiful place to be. That's not in fear. That's not in angst. That's not in hopelessness. That's not in despair. It's not in, I need someone to save me. It's in, I am awakening to the power that lies within me. I am open to the ever expanding awareness of that which I am in truth. For I know that I am one with the Creator. I am love. I am light. I am one with the all in the allness of creation. And so it is. And that's our lesson for today. I hope this makes sense. If it, please let me know. Please comment and let me know if you have questions. And I will be placing, as soon as I have these courses, the courses written in writing that are more in depth than the podcast, I will place it on my website, and I will let you all know that how you can find it. It's not there yet because I haven't completed it. But once it's done, you will find it there. So I hope you have liked and you have come to new awarenesses, possibly, or even excited and open to to moving beyond and learning so much more, and growing and expanding your consciousness, up-leveling your consciousness. As we each do so, we are creating ripples within the whole. We are uplifting humanity, and we are on the path of ascension with Gaia. So if you've liked this video, please share and subscribe so it helps the channel to grow. I realize and understand that this content is not for everyone. It is for those that want to grow spiritually. So if you know someone who does communicate that to you, then please share this information with them. And I thank you if you've stayed with me through this whole podcast. I thank you for sharing with me. My love to you always. And if you'd like a more in-depth or personal session with me, the link for that information will be below. Thank you and good night.